And we are live. What's up, beasties? It's Triple B, your friendly neighborhood bearded book beast. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another episode of Beast Friends Forever with me. It's Triple B. We got fun times up ahead and another author for you to be read. Just remember what your beastie said, and we'll be beast friends forever with me. And we are here again. It's been a minute. Excited to be back. I've got an awesome guest tonight. Somebody that is just fantastic. They wrote an awesome book. They're an awesome author, but they're even a more awesome person. Somebody I've been talking to behind the scenes for a while we tried to set this up. They've been gracious as we just couldn't make it work. Mostly my fault as usual, but we finally figured it out. And then they were gracious with some technical difficulties in the background, but we got it figured out. We're gonna be able to chat. And this author is awesome. You're gonna love them. They're just easy to root for, and their book is really cool. And I can't wait for you to learn all about it and learn more about them. So without further ado, let me bring on my guest tonight. Hold on, who's here? That's right, it's my good friend Antoine Monks. Welcome, Antoine. Thank you for being here, my friend.
Oh, thanks for having me on, Chris. It's great to finally be here.
Yes, we've been talking about this for so long. It's been quite a while. We've been trying to figure this out. So I'm glad that
Hmm.
it finally worked out for our schedules and had a little scary moment back there where both of us were having issues for some reason, even though the streaming service said you're both good to go, but then we both had
Uh,
problems. So, but now it's working. We can see each
yes.
other move and we can hear each other, and that's
Oh, thank
all
goodness.
that matters. So
It was a
it's all
slideshow
good.
for us.
We got it though. We got it. And I
Oh yeah.
got I got it running on my extra device here, and everything looks good. So we're good to go. We're good to go. We got some people in the chats already popping off here. So let me shout out a couple people. We got Keys is here. What's up, Keys? Thanks for being here, my friend. We appreciate you. Another awesome indie author, Sarah New, is here. What's up, Sarah? Thank you for being here. Hope you're having a great day. And another former guest, an awesome indie author, Jeffrey Smith, is here. Howdy, my friend. Uh, that's right. It's time. Let's go. So, we are here to talk about your amazing book and your journey. So, I've got it right here. I love this cover, I love the premise. So, I'll let everyone gaze at this beautiful cover while you tell us what Heroless is about.
Well, it's a world where the supervillains all got together and they defeated all the heroes. They killed them all, actually, 15 years earlier. Well, at least they think they got them all, because we also see that there are, in fact, at least two heroes that are still alive, but they're no longer heroing. And while our villains are on their journey, we also see these two people meeting up. They're going for coffee, just talking about old times and all of this. But I guess the main plot would really be about our man on the cover, Ledgecarp, because the society has the order has detected a object moving at the speed of light. But this is the opening, which they are need to find out who or what this is. Is it someone back from the dead? They don't think so. Is it something, it's a comic book world. The cosmos is full of threats, and
Mm-hmm.
so they have to investigate it and find out what's up.
Oh, so cool, man. I just love that's like one of my favorite tropes in general, especially with superhero stuff, but anything is kind of the anti-hero, the not squeaky clean hero.
Mm,
And when a villain turns hero, that's one of my favorite things. So you take this idea where the villains win, and now they are gonna have to figure out like what is their purpose now that they're not going up against heroes, and what who's going to save the world now if something bad happens. So I
exactly.
just love it, man. I'm so excited. I really wanted to read it before we talked, but it just life has not been cooperating. I haven't been able to read anything. So
No
it's at the
worries. No
top of
worries.
my list. I cannot wait. It sounds awesome. And just for everyone in the live chat, you can find the link to Heroless in the description down below if you're watching on replay. We appreciate you as well. Description down below. I've got that linked. I've also got your YouTube channel linked, which I didn't even
Oh,
know you
thank
had a
you.
YouTube channel. So people can check
Yeah.
that out and subscribe. It's a lot of fun. I subscribe. So
Oh,
people
thank
can
you.
check that out, of course. And then I put your X on there because I wasn't sure. I didn't know if you had a website or
Hmm.
if you used X or YouTube. What was the best way to
Yeah.
send people to your stuff?
Honestly, you made the right call. X and YouTube are where I'm the
Okay.
most active in that order. And from there, they'll find everything else. Like, I do have kind of a web page with the publisher,
Okay.
but
Oh yeah,
it's,
I found that. Yep.
yeah, but it's only like my bio, links to buy the book, and that's
Right.
all going to be here. So,
Right. Right. The most important thing is the link to the book, and I've got it
yeah.
down there.
Yes, this is the
Yes.
critical part.
So before we dive into how much I love that cover and talk about everything else, I need to know how you came up with this cool idea. Like, has superheroes always been something you've been into, or was it just an idea that came to you? How did you come up with this?
It's a combination of both,
Okay.
because some of the characters in Heroless, there's especially three I want to say that are characters I came up with when I was a child, actually.
Oh wow.
Because yeah, it's kind of crazy how it happened. Because back in the '90s, in the late '90s, when I was 5 or 6 or something like this, it was in 1998, so I would have been yeah, like 5. Anyway, we took a trip to Vancouver. I grew up in the countryside on an island.
Okay.
Took a trip to Vancouver, and my dad was financing his own CD at the time.
Oh wow.
And yeah, it's a bit of a rabbit hole. He hired a illustrator with DC Comics to do the cover. He gave us some free comics. So that's where the superhero thing started when I was like 5, way back there. Then
Oh
in the
man.
90s, we had all those cool cartoons like Batman,
Oh yeah.
X-Men, Spider-Man. But specifically to do something with supervillains was because I've read a couple of comics where they had a story where the bad guys won.
Mm-hmm.
There's one by, oh, actually, no. Both of the ones I've read were by Mark Millar, I believe his name is pronounced. I was always pronouncing
Oh
it
yeah.
Mark Millar. Yeah.
Yeah.
He wrote Wanted, which was turned into a
Yes.
movie,
I
right?
love Wanted. Yes.
Okay, so he wrote this, and it was turned into a movie with James McAvoy, but it's not terribly accurate. I think the movie is fine, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
almost nothing to
Yeah.
do.
Way
Nothing.
different. Way different.
Yeah.
Cool
And
movie, but not the
yeah,
same as
it's,
the comic. Yeah. Yeah.
it's one of those. And but the one that really did it to me, because I don't like it that much, actually, I kind of respect it, was he did a similar idea, but he did it for Marvel. It's
Okay.
a story called Old Man Logan, also turned
Yeah.
into a movie called Logan. Again,
Yeah.
almost no resemblance,
No. Yeah.
because yeah,
Again, very different. Yeah. Yeah.
very different. And
Yeah.
I thought that I sort of saw an angle in it where instead of seeing it from the perspective, in Wanted we have a guy who's new to the situation. In Logan, it's one of the heroes whose, his life has no meaning. But I thought it was more fun from the villain perspective because you have sort of the meta commentary that
Hmm.
most villains were created after their heroes were written
Yep.
already, and the creators need to give them a villain of the month. So
Right.
if you just take the hero out of there, it's like, oh, wait a minute. If I don't have Batman to fight every month, I kind of don't have a reason for existing. It's a bit like Andy's Toys, the speech
True.
Woody makes to them. We're here for him when he wants to play. He
Yeah. Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
exist now. But no, but just a caveat, I do actually like Wanted a lot more now because he's expanded a lot on the universe as the years have gone by, and he's even
Mhm.
crossed it over with all the other stuff he's
Yeah.
written.
Yeah.
So where it ended up, now I love it. It's like, okay, it ended up here, so now I actually like it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was interesting.
That's awesome. That's pretty cool. That makes me even more excited to read it because I love all that stuff you just talked about. So there you go. Um, Now, are you okay if we talk about the cover next?
Of course, I love talking about the cover.
Oh, good. I love the cover. All right, I'm gonna make it as big as I can here. Let me see. I want to do. Nope, I don't want to be big. I think this is probably the biggest that I can make
Probably
it.
the
Okay.
best we can do.
So, uh, Amazing cover. So tell us about how this process went. First, I'm sure you want to give some love to your artist or whoever did it. Talk about the process. Is this what you envisioned? Was it some back and forth? How did all the process go? Because you came out with a winner. This cover is awesome.
Oh, thank you so much. It's honestly a little bit of everything you just said.
Okay.
She has a credit in the front of the book. I have really tried to find her social media or something, and I
Hmm.
can't find anything. So maybe she literally like is on a mountain in Tibet and does everything by Hogwarts Owl or something.
Yeah, right, right.
But it is Charlene Lanos.
Okay.
Um, and the cover, so originally, the way this worked was the publisher sent me a form
Hmm.
for with a bunch of questions about things about the formatting and stuff like this.
Yeah.
And there was many things I had to pick, like what genres it was in, and they also asked about the cover. They only asked for descriptions of some characters or something like this.
Okay.
And I thought, well, I can make a cover. I wrote them a whole thing there. Pardon me. I wrote
Oh, no problem.
quite a description, and I decided at the last second it's too complicated. This is way too complicated. It's going to be too crowded. I
Yeah.
deleted all of that, and I just described this cover, almost
Oh, wow.
exactly this. Like they
That's
literally,
awesome.
yeah, they literally copied it exactly. There
Oh.
was a back and forth. There was a little bit of a back and forth,
Hmm.
but we didn't wind up changing anything. The publisher convinced
Wow.
me that this was fine, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm just going to cause delays if I like try to nitpick stuff. So
Yeah.
no, and everyone has loved the cover so much.
Oh,
So
yeah.
obviously the publisher knew what they were doing,
Oh,
and I guess
yeah,
I
man.
did too. I was second guessing myself a little.
Yeah, yeah. Because it was pretty much what you envisioned, but you probably thought like, oh, maybe it needs to be a little more this or that. But I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
it looks iconic, just timeless, man. It looks amazing. Already in the comments here, Sarah says great cover, and Keys
Oh,
said I love this cover. So I mean, it's striking. It stands out, and I mean, it sets up the story well after you told us what it's about. I mean, it nails it.
I actually didn't really think about how different it is when you have a cover to make a first impression, and
Right.
then people read the text after. Because I went
Hmm.
through quite a few beta readers,
Mm.
and with the main guy here on the cover, we can guess this is the protagonist from
Yep.
page one. Basically, he's a tall, thin guy. But the background figure, he's a supporting character, but
Oh.
he's on the cover because he's kind of the Superman of this universe. He's like
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
original superhero.
Okay.
But you don't get to him until like chapter three or something. But
Oh,
this way,
okay.
with the
It's
cover,
in their
people
mind.
already have it in their mind. I need to expect that there's going to be this guy at some point. So then when he shows up, it's okay, here he is. Here's the guy from the cover, and I never really considered that until the
Oh,
cover.
yeah.
It's just interesting. It all kind of works together. The cover
Interesting.
is. I know,
That
yeah,
that
yeah.
that's cool, man. I was thinking it was like a hero, like a main hero that they had already killed or something. So that's cool that they're also a character in the book somehow. So that's pretty awesome.
It's because I didn't want to only write about the supervillains, and
Yeah, I love that.
originally the first draft of the book, I only progressed a little ways in. I think as it is, I think I did 6 chapters or something, and I took a break from it and came back to it like, oh, what, 7 years later or something like this,
Yeah,
because I realized that if I incorporated flashbacks, then I could show when the heroes were around and have proper heroism to be in
right.
contrast with things. Because I think sometimes a mistake with superhero stuff is we just take for granted that the audience is going to care about it because we put the label superhero there. It's more
Hmm.
effective if you see them save people or even see their
Right.
flaws and whatnot. Because then
Yeah.
we always go back to the future timeline where, yeah, all of that's kind of like it's relevant, but is it really? Except to give
Yeah.
contrast.
Right. I love it.
So,
Very cool, man. All right. Well, I'm gonna do this so people can still see the cover if they
no, nice.
would like to. And then Keys had a good question, which is kind of where I was going to go next, and that is this a standalone story? Do you have plans for it to be a series? Is it just a standalone now? Have you not decided? Are you going to write more in this world that's also standalone? What are you thinking? Obviously, we don't know how it ends, so that could change things. But once we read it, but so what are you thinking for this book? Or you can talk about if you already are planning your next book and it's not anything to do with this. What are you thinking for this book? Is it standalone or is it there going to be more?
This is going to work perfectly as a standalone.
Okay.
But there is a plan to continue with this world.
Nice.
This book is actually something that I wrote because I was struggling massively with the really long fantasy book that I've been working on. And
Oh,
so I said to myself, I need to just write something that's a little bit easier to finish and at least go on a querying journey and see how
yeah.
this next step of this process works. So it was when I went into that mindset that I had the breakthrough of flashbacks, characters from my childhood, all of this. But a lot of the stuff in here is deleted material from a much bigger book featuring many of these characters.
Oh, okay.
So it is a standalone, but
Yeah.
the follow-up will be coming out at some point in the future. But I don't know when because I'm back to the fantasy book that was
Yeah.
supposed to be my debut. But now that I have the writer's life jumping around, it's weird. Like I took a
That's
little
cool.
break. Yeah, it's like I took a little break from writing my fantasy epic, and entire novel happens. It got published, and it was a lot of second guessing as well because when I wrote it, I did it with the idea of this is going to be fairly fast to write. This feels like 80 to 90,000 words instead of 150,
Right.
and it should be easier to sell, right? By the
Yeah.
time I finished it, the discussions of superhero fatigue were setting in, and I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
okay, this might be a hard sell now. And then, no, like I didn't have 100 queries or something like this. It was like maybe 10, 15.
Hmm.
But, um, but yeah, we got a little off topic there. Yes, it's a
Oh
standalone.
no.
Yes, it
This
can continue
this
as
is
well.
this is the Antoine Monks show. There's no off topic. If you're talking, we're on topic. So don't
Okay,
you
thank you.
talk about whatever you want, man.
Mm,
And yeah, the superhero fatigue, I think, for the
mm.
general masses is probably true. But although I would say with some of the stinkers that Marvel has made, I think
Yes.
people are getting the itch for superhero stuff again. But I will tell you that I've been doing this for not quite 2 years.
Mm.
And one of my most popular videos is a terrible video because it's one of the first ones I made, but it gets the most views consistently still. And that was my 10 superhero novels, like books for adults, because a lot of
Yeah.
times people try to look up superhero books and it just brings you to comic books. So
Yes.
I talked about 10 novels like yours that people could read if they're looking for that, and it still gets the most views. So I think there's
It's
a lot
how I
more
found,
interest in superhero books. It's just you got to find a way to get to those people, right?
yes, it's how I found your channel. I found that video exactly.
That's right,
And
because that was when we first talked.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so
Oh yeah,
that video still gets stuff, and even
yeah.
though it's one
Yeah.
of my first ones that I'm like, "Ugh," but people still watch it. So
I know the feeling. My earliest content, I'm like, oh, this microphone is terrible, but everyone still clicks on it. Like
yep.
40,000 views or something is my most viewed
Oh,
video.
oh man,
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
so
yeah.
you just never know what's gonna go off. It's just
No,
crazy.
no. And sometimes something you made like a year ago becomes
Mhm.
relevant
Yeah,
because something
that's true.
something happens.
Yeah,
Like when you made your video, it was like 2 years ago, you said?
pretty much.
Since, yes, since then, there have been two Batman novels that are set in the
Hmm.
1989 Michael Keaton
Yes,
universe.
yes.
So that is going to drive a little bit of traffic. If someone reads this,
Yeah,
they're like, ah, superheroes is a novel. I never thought about this before. Are there
yeah,
more? Oh, here's a
yeah.
video talking about the top 10. So there's
I
another
know.
click.
There you go. There you go. And I got to do a follow up soon. And because there's a lot more that I've found since then. So
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty awesome stuff.
Yeah,
Keys made a good point here. He said the
yeah,
boys brought a revival to gray superhero like characters, so it's definitely not totally dead at all. Yeah, I think
no.
that's where your book comes in. Is
Mm,
I think the fatigue is with the known same old type of
yeah,
story and characters they know, but the characters that are lesser known or not known at all, I think people are hungry for, and taking those old classic tropes and flipping them upside down like you're doing, I
Mm.
think is something exciting that people can get pumped about.
I hope so. I mean, I always, when I sit down to write something, I try to have this attitude of if it starts to feel at all familiar,
Hmm.
try to just do something else.
Yeah.
Because it's the other reason why the flashbacks were sort of the breakthrough for me because I didn't want this to come across as me not liking superheroes. Like
Yeah.
that's not the point. I don't want to
Right.
like make
Right.
people feel bad for liking the genre or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
love letter from it like a different angle. But if I was only going to feature these villainous characters, it was just rubbing me the wrong way. I was like, oh, I'm not really enjoying writing this. I don't think anyone would want to read this. But about the boys, I think it demonstrates exactly as he put, and as you were saying, like characters that we're not as familiar with. They're open ended. We don't know what their story
Right.
is. But I also think, because you said a minute ago, like we've been getting a lower caliber of film from Marvel, specifically
Right.
Marvel, because they've
Yeah.
produced so much stuff ever since
Oh
Disney
yeah.
Plus.
Yeah. Hmm.
It's insane. And but like just in the last couple of years, I noticed that the last year, almost I think every superhero film. I don't know about shows so much,
Right.
but the films. I know, and even the shows. We had Daredevil Born Again.
Hmm.
I feel like the word of mouth for everything was pun intended was super strong.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it wasn't enough to turn the numbers again that they had been. So they've won
Right.
back sort of the audience that's always there. Like, are you guys
Yeah.
gonna, make something I like or not? And then when they
Right.
do, yeah, those people are still there.
Hmm.
But everyone else, and even this year, like we're seeing, I think, more standalone films in the
Yeah.
genres other than this, like Project Hail Mary. I
Yeah.
just saw that like last week.
So did I. Did you like
Oh
it?
yeah,
It was good.
unbelievable, incredible. I
Very good.
loved the book. Yeah, I loved the book
Yeah.
when it came out 5 years ago, and so I've been waiting for this. It's like, how
Yeah.
are you guys? It was yeah. I was so impressed with it.
Yeah. I think they did a good job. Like, they cut out things that didn't. I was worried they cut out too much or change it, but they kept the heart and like they
Yes.
streamlined the book to.
Yeah.
They just figured out how to make it into a good movie that never felt like it dragged at all. Like, but you
Never.
didn't
It
miss
was.
anything. I felt like they focused on some
Yeah.
different things and cut out some things. Yeah, I thought it was really good.
Oh yeah. I was so happy with it. As you said, they kept the heart of the book.
Yep.
And something I realized some years ago is when you've got a book being made into a film,
Hmm.
as much as anything, it's kind of a numbers problem. Like
Right.
there's a rule of thumb in movie making that one page of script is 1 minute of film. That's
Hmm.
probably not 100% true, but it's like
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
rule of thumb.
Right. Right.
Well, the average manuscript page for a book, like when you're just typing in Microsoft Word, you get over 300 words, usually 380 or something like this.
Right.
Well, if you've ever looked at a manuscript page for a film script or a stage play, there's way less words on this page. It's less than 300, like 250, 280 or something.
Yeah.
So right away, okay, you want one to one, you've got to make 300-minute movie, 500-minute movie for a book like Project Hail Mary.
Right.
So you have to cut, or you
Yeah.
have to make a miniseries.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the important thing becomes what's the core of this that we can't play with, and then what can you just unfortunately leave out. But I
Mhm.
agree. It was like they kept that crucial center, which it's
Yeah.
don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it, but
Right.
it's really about the characters, not the science.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. Yeah,
Yeah,
they did a good job of talking about the science stuff, but not making it so much focus that I was like, I could
yeah,
follow it enough to know, okay, I get what's going on here, but the
yeah,
focus
yeah,
is the characters for sure. Which I'm a
yeah.
character reader, so I love that in books. So I
Me
love that
too.
in movies too.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I agree. I thought it was pretty good. Oh, hang on a
Sweet.
second. Let me see. Let's see what Key said here. He said the fact that this serves as a standalone is a huge win, in my opinion. Our genre is so heavy on producing so many big series. Yes, I crave a
Yes.
standalone between those. Yeah, I agree too. Like,
Yes. Oh yeah.
uh, everything's even like trilogies have become a thing where it's not even trilogies anymore. You get these big chunky
No.
books, and it's four, five, six, seven books to tell the
Yeah.
whole story. Which
Yeah.
is when you love a series, you do not want it to end, but if you want to
Yeah.
read more than one series, you kind of need them to end, so you have time to read other things. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's great, and I love that that you want to do more in that world. So if people love the characters, the story, the world, there'll be
Yeah.
more, but they don't have to like. It's not like, oh, I gotta read all of the books to know the whole story. Like,
Yeah,
that's
no.
I think that's a brilliant way to do it.
The plan, because even my fantasy book is going to launch a series,
Hmm.
but I feel like I want to avoid even putting a series name or numbers on it if I can.
Yeah.
I'd like each book to function completely alone, like its
Right.
own characters, its own plot, its own
Hmm.
ending. And Heroless is the same. Like when that next book comes out, you can skip this. Just don't read
Right.
it. Read the next one. And then if it's
Yeah.
interesting, read this one. Or read
Right.
this one. Don't even read the next one. There's nothing to if you do read it, okay, yes, there's a thread. If you
Right.
don't, this is going to be fine. You're not left with a cliffhanger
Yeah.
where the prophecy isn't fulfilled and da 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 da.
Yeah.
Which I don't. The thing for me is, I like series. I've read a
Hmm.
few. I've
Oh,
read
I
The
do
Witcher
too.
saga.
Yep.
I'm reading right now The Wheel of Time. But here's the
Nice.
thing for me. Some people are fast readers. I don't know how they do it. They
Oh
can
yeah.
read like 50 books a month or something.
I know it's
And,
crazy.
and the thing for me is, if I'm reading a series, I'm going to take breaks. The Wheel of
Hmm.
Time books are long. They're averaging almost 1,000 pages, something like 300,000 words plus each book.
Right. Yep.
So I take breaks to read other books. I'm not going to take a break to start a different series. It's just my
Right.
brain needs one series at a time.
Hmm.
And I honestly feel bad because there are so many indie authors I'm in contact with
Oh yeah.
on X, but so many of them they've written like a trilogy or something, and it's like your book looks so
I
interesting,
know. I know.
but I can't. I'm in the
Right.
middle of Wheel of
I gotta
Time, and I'm
stay until this
scrolling.
is done. Yeah. I know.
Yeah, yeah, it's something with my brain. It's like
Oh yeah. No, I get
but
it. I get it. It's hard to
yeah,
hop between series, and then sometimes if you try it, you start confusing events and characters and
yeah,
world stuff, and you're like, wait, no, 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 that's this series. I know.
yeah.
I've tried to be like, okay, I'll read book one of like this series, then book one of this, book one, and then every three like months cycle back through, and it's just hard. I don't know
Yeah,
how people can do it. I struggle with it. Um,
yeah,
Sarah, I agree. Sometimes I'm like that too. She said, I quite like grabbing a standalone to get to know an author. If I start book one of a series, I feel obligated to finish, even if I don't like the books. So
it's
I have a
true.
hard time
Yeah,
DNFing things, so I get that
yeah,
100%.
yeah, yeah. It's I get like this itch where I've had this happen with comics, I think, more than books.
Oh,
Because
yeah, me too.
with comics, it's like I can read this in 10 minutes. Like you can
Right,
just
right.
go
I
through
can
it.
fly through this. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, but it does create this thing of like I don't like this, but I'll always wonder what happened now. So I
I
have to
gotta
read
finish
it.
it.
Yeah,
I know.
exactly.
Gotta see where
Yeah,
this ends. I know. I hear
yeah.
you. J.A. Bright, another awesome indie author from across the pond in Australia. Drive-by comment stuck at the dreaded work. Appreciate you, my friend. I hope the work
Mm.
goes quick. Uh,
Yeah. If it's any consolation to this guy for being stuck at work, I actually wrote the description for the cover of this book when I was at work.
oh, well, there you go.
So
So
the work's not
he
always terrible,
that's
but
right.
if you want to
Find
just
Find some time to write something, right? Keith
exactly,
said, "Yeah, I love that. Don't get me wrong. Love the chunky epic book series. I just need a great standalone to bridge it." I hear you, man.
yeah,
I'm the same way. I
yeah,
love. That's why I love novellas too. In between big books,
yes,
uh,
oh yes, yes,
there's so many. I love just a good quick read every once in a while.
oh yeah, I literally, I know there's a question, but I'm reading the Count of Monte Cristo, and it's so long, it's almost like reading a series. So I keep taking
That is, man.
Yeah, so what I've done is I keep taking breaks, like every month. I take a break and I literally will read a novella, just something really
Oh
short.
yeah. Hmm.
Like, oh, the ending is right there, and I'll get a whole story and get
Oh
everything
yeah.
very concise.
Oh yeah. That's when I get big books like that, like Count of Monte Cristo or a classic or something really long. I'll read it slowly over like months.
Yeah,
I'll do
yeah.
like I'll do audio of it, ebook of it, physical, so that I can just pick it up when I want, a little bit every day or a little
No,
bit every week, and then read other stuff. Because if I
yeah,
try to focus on something that big, I'll go crazy.
no. I used to be better with this. I used to be able to really lock in,
Yeah.
but life was simpler then, let's
Hmm.
say.
Right.
But man,
Life
I
doesn't
wish
stay that way.
Yeah, I wish I could audiobook. Audiobooks are one of those things that I
I can
just
only do it if I'm driving or if I'm like if I'm doing chores, but then I don't always it doesn't all sink in. So I
mm,
miss I'd rather read physically cuz but I can't
mm,
sit down and listen. Like some people
yeah,
can and that's awesome. I wish I could, but I can't. Like I
exactly.
get too like antsy I end up doing something
Yeah,
else.
yeah. My brother and a few other people that I know, some of their main ways they consume books is via audiobooks.
Hmm.
So, and the thing is months later, because they'll tell me, "Oh, I listened to this, amazing book," and then like months later, I'll finally get to it, and
Yeah.
then I'll be reading it and talking about it with these guys. They remember everything perfectly, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Okay, it's me that has the problem."
Oh yeah,
But
I'm the same way,
yeah,
man. I
but
did
honestly,
I did the first Dungeon Crawler Carl book on audio, which I
cool.
love those audiobooks, but I thought I remember it good, and I went on with this group on somebody else's channel, and he
Uh-oh.
starts asking people questions about it, and he asked me about the specific scene, and I'm like, I don't remember that at all. So I'm like, how am I going to answer this? I'm live.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just I've learned that with
Oh.
audio, like if I shouldn't talk to someone about a book unless I read it physically, because
Mm,
I'm not going to be a great conversationist with it. I hear you.
it's yeah, it's funny. Like some things, I love listening to it, and
Hmm.
I'm not even sure that I wouldn't retain the information. But I feel like when I read for myself, there's so much of the experience that's created in my own head.
Hmm.
And the minute someone else reads it, I'm working with their interpretation of
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
voice or something like this.
Yep. That's so
But
true.
But on that same note, I am really trying hard to get an audiobook of Heroless made. It's
That would be
just
cool.
that, yeah, because I really want one to exist. I even have found the voice actor for it.
Oh wow.
And he read the first three chapters on his YouTube channel. It's here on YouTube out here. And if you just look up after the stream, if people just look up Heroless audiobook, they'll find it. There's
Okay.
almost no video, no, well, there's almost no content for my book on YouTube, so it'll come up right away. And I had that experience where he would do a voice, and I would go, "It's not what I imagined, but it's a good voice. Like it is, it does fit the character."
Yeah.
For
Yep.
someone else who loves audiobooks and they want to have like that theater experience, kind of where you're having a performance along with the story,
Yeah.
this is going
Oh
to be
yeah.
great. But for me, it's like, huh, that's cool. It's different. Well, yeah. It works though. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. It's
Right.
just
Right.
when you're stuck in your own
I
version, you
know.
know. But
I'm the same way. But yeah, there's a
yeah,
lot of people that their main way to consume books is audio. So it's
yeah.
worth getting an audio out there if you
Oh
can
yeah.
do it for sure.
Well, and
Um,
there's people that have visual impairments and stuff like
yeah,
this.
and
It's
they
the
can't
only
read
way
it. Yeah.
stories move. Yeah, the last novella I read is from a woman that her main source for books is audiobooks because she doesn't actually see very well. No,
Yeah. That's pretty
but
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a good way to do it. Sarah made a good point. It does seem like a lot of people are reading kind of Monte Cristo. Kind of picked up some steam lately, right? You know,
Yes.
I
Yeah.
love that book. It took me a long time to read it back in the day, but I actually really liked it a lot. I
Oh, I
actually
love
read
it.
they made a manga of it too. I read that as
Really?
well. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that is so cool.
yeah. It
That
was
is so
pretty
cool.
cool because
Oh, I
I
just
read the book and then I did that, and it made it make way more sense in my head, seeing pictures and stuff,
yeah,
but like
yeah,
a
yeah,
comic.
yeah.
It
Oh,
might
I
have been
love
I
it.
think it was manga. It might have been a graphic novel. I can't remember if I read it
Hmm.
backwards or forwards, but either way, it was good.
Oh, it's such a good book. Like I'm about
Hmm.
halfway, and it's one of those things where I've been away from classic literature for a while. I try
Hmm.
to read at least one classic per year and one really new book per year, and now I
Yep.
try to read at least one like self-published or indie book per year too. And
Good.
then
Yep.
everything else is just mood.
Right.
But when I started reading, I read mostly classics, and this is taking me back into that feeling of just reading something that has built up trust across
Yeah.
centuries. It is so good, but I'm seeing so much influence that it's had, where I'm reading it and I'm like, wait a minute, he goes to jail and he doesn't know why, what crime he's done, the authority figures aren't communicating.
Right.
So it's The Trial by Franz Kafka.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, now he's met his mentor in prison and he's getting skills, so this is Batman now? And
Yep.
then,
Yep.
okay, now he's going to break out and he's going to fight the people that put him here and that put him in this dungeon and all of this. The shadowy figures are no longer shadowy. He now understands how to fight back. So it's the
Hmm.
Matrix.
Right.
It's like, oh my God,
Got a
are we
little bit of
just,
everything in there.
yeah, have we just been recycling Monte Cristo for 2 centuries? It's a little
I think
scary.
I think you might be onto something there. Take a little, just one little part of it because it's got so many different things. You're right.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
let's see.
Oh yeah,
E.L.
go
Montague is in here, another awesome author. He does his own audiobooks. His audiobooks are fantastic. He's got a voice for audio. It's awesome. But he was just talking about how it's expensive but not hard to get one done. Although with cost, you are able to do the royalty share thing where you
Yeah,
don't have to put any money down and you just split the proceeds. But he can do his own, which is fantastic.
yeah.
And then Count of Monte Cristo is the first time I realized people in the 18th century were people. Yeah, right. That's true. That's one of my favorite classic books for sure. I agree with you
Oh yeah.
guys. It's
Oh
so
yeah.
good.
It's funny that as someone who loves reading classics, it's weird that one of the classics that's been on my list just forever because I love The Three Musketeers by
Ah,
Dumas as well. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
So it's interesting that finally, when I'm feeling like, okay, what's the next classic I'm going to read?
yeah.
Suddenly, a classic book is trending, like legit trending. It's hot with the kids right now. It's
Right.
like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, so I can read
I
a
know.
classic like I always do, and I'll be trendy. Oh, that's so
I
cool.
know, I know. I've been trying to get my son to read forever. He's 16
Mm,
and now he wants to go to the bookstore all the time and he wants to buy all these classic books. He's like, "Oh, I heard this one's supposed to be really good." I'm
yeah,
like, I'm
yeah,
like, "Yes, you're finally getting into reading." And I'm
yeah.
surprised it's classics, but hey, whatever gets you reading, man.
You
So
said
that's real.
that's actually makes me think some stuff. You said he's 16 now.
Yeah, yep, yep.
I feel like something my dad said to me when I was very young is that in general boys start reading later. When we're young, we
Yeah.
when we're really small, we just don't care that much about it.
Yeah, he just
Like,
read whatever he had to for school and that was
yeah, exactly.
yeah,
And then we sort of get into it later.
yeah.
And it's interesting, like with Monte Cristo, this is something that is trending a lot with men. Like I see a
Hmm.
lot of male influencers are reading this. So there's
Hmm.
something about these classic books that for some reason guys, when they get into
Real
reading,
cool.
I was the same. When I started reading, it was specifically
Oh
classics.
yeah.
I started,
Yeah.
yep, Lovecraft, War and Peace,
Oh
Gone
yeah.
with the Wind, and Moby Dick. Those three big books all in a row.
Oh
And it's
man.
like, whoa, this is such great stuff. I was just eating it up, It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh, yeah. That can't go wrong with those for sure.
Yeah.
Um, I want to go back for a second. Keys had another good question. Uh, Never worry about hijacking the questions, Keys. This is one I was going to ask anyway, and you always ask great
Ooh.
questions, so keep them coming. But is Heroless multiple POV?
Yes, I also want to say, don't worry about hijacking. That's literally why we're here today.
That's right.
But it's funny, actually, just before I answer this, because it's fairly easy to answer, but it's just funny to be in a space where I can talk about this freely. I think most creatives are familiar with that feeling that most of the time it's like, okay, gotta shut up right now.
Yeah, don't
But
be blabbing about your book. But
exactly,
here,
exactly.
that's what we're here for.
Yeah, or movies or comics or
Right,
music or
right.
anything. Just
Yep.
shut up. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so there's no hijacking. But also a fun question because it's like a kind of a technical question.
Yeah.
It is multiple POV, point of view, but I strictly write in third person limited, where we have a point of view, but we see their thoughts, but always from the he, she, it,
Yeah, yeah,
did
yeah.
this.
No
But
big
yeah,
broad
yeah,
scope. That's
yes.
my favorite point of view, third person limited. I love finding things out as they do.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is one reason that I loved. I know the book is problematic, so maybe I shouldn't mention it, but I think it still is really good. Is Gone with the Wind was a book that made me appreciate the power of third person limited, where
Hmm.
you're so focused on this one character, but that you're right inside of her brain. But it's never I did this, I did that. It's she did this, she did that. Scarlett said this, Scarlett said that. But yeah, Heroless has a lot of points of view actually. In fact, originally when I looked for beta readers, I gave a much more comprehensive idea
Hmm.
of just how many threads are in such a relatively small book. So there are some characters that they literally get like one or two chapters from their perspective,
Mm.
especially the superheroes, because in the villain world, we're very much in Carp's mind. He's the main
Yeah.
character of that story. But with the superheroes, I kind of wanted to do this thing where it's almost like short stories. You get one
Mm.
chapter where a guy like stops a crime or fought a supervillain or something. Just to
Yeah.
have something a little more fun, but at the same time a realist take on it. So yeah, multiple point of view. There's two main. and then there's a whole bunch of supports. Sometimes too, you just need the story to develop in a way that you need this one character to have this one moment where we need their perspective. And I also learned this from Gone with the Wind, because in Gone with the Wind, I think there's literally 2 chapters in the entire book that aren't from Scarlett O'Hara's third-person limited point of view. And if you didn't have them, you'd miss the context for something. So even in a story where you're laser focused, this is a character study thing, even in such a laser focused book, you needed those 2 scenes. She needed those 2 scenes.
Yeah.
To, well, if I don't show this to you, you're not going to understand it, so we're going to take a break from our very much the main character here and kind of go over there. But, yeah.
I like it. That sounds awesome, man. Having all those different POVs. That's cool. So is your fantasy you're working on, I'm guessing, also multi POV?
Oh yeah, even more so because okay, so I'm working on one main one, but I've also written the second book as well, and I've got the whole series outlined. It's not crazy. It's 8 books.
Okay.
It was going to be 9, but I figured out a way recently that I can combine 1 and 3.
Oh, that's
Because
interesting.
yeah, I know it's weird because 1 takes place a long time before everything else,
Oh, okay.
and for a long time I thought this is such a big backstory; it needs its own book. But recently, when I was working a little more concretely on the outline for the third one, really trying to, sometimes when I'm stuck on the main project, I just grab whatever project I just feel like that day, and I realized. We don't have the context for a lot of the motivations, and if we don't have them, we're not going to be invested in the characters or anything. And most of that information will be in this other book. But then it's creating the requirement. You now will have to read that to understand this, and I don't want to do that if I can ever avoid it. So it's going to probably just get combined, and it'll be 8, not 9. So we got it down 1 more. But they're all multiple point of view. There's never going to be one that's only one character. I've always been a fan of ensemble stories. When I was growing up, there were a couple of movies about the Civil War, actually, the American Civil War. One is Gettysburg, where you're seeing, I don't know if anyone has seen this movie, but it's very accurate to the real Battle of Gettysburg that was fought in the American Civil War. And it shows the North and South perspective through the the actors playing these historical characters, these historical figures. It's very accurate to the real events, and you see both perspectives of the battle. So you have one turn of the tide where these guys are now, oh, we're winning, everything's awesome. Then you go over there and see these guys, well, they're suffering, they're having a terrible day because they're losing, right?
Right.
So this is one reason I like having a lot of characters, is to see, like, okay, something great happened here, but for someone else it wasn't so good, or, but actually it's funny, I have a lot of respect for the people that can just stick to one character and tell the whole story that way, because it's not something that I even feel capable of doing. Like, I've read one Agatha Christie novel, and the way that she just stays in one character's point of view, who isn't even Proro, and tells the whole thing from there. By Proro sharing with this guy, we see everything. It's like, that's crazy,
Oh, yeah.
So I don't do it partially because I feel like I need more characters.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I get it. And Keys is with you. He said Gettysburg is a beautiful movie. There you go. All-time great.
On VHS, the way I grew up watching it, probably on 2 cassettes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You remember those movies back then? Oh, man, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't fit it all in one. Yep.
No.
I agree.
I mean, even early DVDs, they would sometimes do 2, maybe just for the aesthetic.
You're right.
Like,
They did.
Titanic was 2 DVDs.
Titanic was, yeah.
Yeah. You get the audio commentary and all the special features and everything on there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Different
No,
times.
well,
Now you can fit everything. You can fit a whole season of a show on one DVD.
Yeah. And not even a DVD, just from a
Blu-ray,
cloud
yeah.
stream.
Oh, yeah. You don't even have to have a physical disc anymore. That's crazy.
It's funny. I have mixed feelings about it. At first, it felt like it was great to get rid of all this physical stuff. But now that we're entering into an era where, like, books get changed, and if you have the digital version, you lose access to the old version. It's like,
No. And then there's
Okay.
some things that say you don't really own it, and they could just take it
Mm,
away. I know.
yeah,
It's
yeah. Well,
I prefer physical now,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
even though it's nice to have the space, but
Yeah,
yeah, it is
yeah.
just how it is.
I almost feel myself like shifting back, like
Mm-hmm.
even just
Me
having a
too.
bad internet connection can impact your movie night. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
no.
and this right,
Yeah, exactly. Whereas, when you have a DVD, you just put it there and
pop
it
it
just
in.
works. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
Super
yeah.
high
I mean,
definition.
it's like that with video games too, right? Used to you had the complete game, you just put it
Yeah,
in, that's what it was. But now it's like it comes out, it's kind of crappy. They got to fix it. You got to wait for the updates, and it's
yeah,
always
yeah, yeah,
getting fixed and glitched out. And oh, I
yeah,
know it's
yeah.
just
I don't
it's different
even.
times.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep, yep. I like
Books
what
will.
EL says here. Physical copies
Yeah.
cannot be changed to hide or alter the past. Books will only be
Hmm.
the only thing that survives the fall. There you go.
I
Uh,
actually, there's an appropriate quote from the Master and Margarita here that manuscripts don't burn.
yeah, there you go.
Mm. Ironic.
There you go. I like it. Uh,
Yeah.
all right. So why don't we take a minute, take us back? You've kind of talked about some things that you brought
Mhm.
up already, but just I'd love to hear about your journey to getting to this point. So you mentioned that you were working on the fantasy, you took a break, wrote this the superhero book. You've mentioned some of your inspirations, but just take us back to when you were young and just walk us through like your journey of, getting into reading and when you started writing and then when you decided to go for it and write a book and like how the publishing and all that stuff happened for you. Just tell us a little bit about your journey. I mean, it's a lot,
Of
but
course. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's actually quite interesting. So after this thing with getting the comics from the artist at
hmm
DC,
yep,
then our dad, well, he grew up in the '60s when like Fantastic Four and all of
oh
the
yeah,
Marvel heroes were brand new, and they took the spotlight from DC hardcore. And I think in a way DC never really got it back, but that's a different thing. I think with
yeah,
DC, everyone knows like three characters, four,
yeah,
five, six, maybe.
yeah.
Maybe they know the Justice League collectively.
hmm
But I think there are. It's nice that James Gunn now is putting a spotlight on
yeah.
characters like
He's starting to
Peacemaker.
show smaller ones.
Yeah,
Yep, yep,
exactly.
yep.
Whereas I think with Marvel, the average, even low tier, like I don't know, the Shocker, I think is probably more well known than like Hawk
So
Girl, and
true.
Hawk Girl is a major character in DC, and Shocker is
Yeah,
just
yeah,
some
yeah,
guy with Shocker
yeah,
gauntlets. Anyway,
yep, yep.
so, but yeah, so I'm not exactly sure when it happened because it happened so far back in my memory that as far as I can remember now, pretty much from the moment we had those comics, I was just, I want to do this. This is
hmm
so cool. This is something I need to do. So for a long time, my brother and I, we both took up drawing.
hmm
We both tried to make comics since the time we were small. But very quickly, my brother realized he had no patience to draw an entire comic. He would draw one picture and
Yeah,
go, I'm
I'm
done.
good.
Yeah, and he would spend a lot of time on it. I would
Yeah,
be wanting to draw as fast as possible to tell the whole story. And I don't know how it took me until I was like in my 20s, like I was like 20 or something like this when I
yeah, yeah, yeah.
realized I don't actually care about the drawing part.
hmm
And it's quite a complication to like make a comic instead of making a book.
Right.
And growing up, I think I was much more of a movie and comic book person.
hmm
But I did read sometimes. I would read, we had a lot of books upstairs. We didn't have the internet. I lived on an island, and internet reception was terrible there for my entire childhood, and we didn't want to deal with having a computer. And back then, you had an option. If you weren't online, it wasn't actually the end of the world, whereas now it's
Right.
impossible.
Yep.
So, like, we had all these encyclopedias and stuff, and I read a lot of those. I would just read random encyclopedia entries. I'd spend hours looking at the pictures before I could read because the
hmm
books were just lying around.
Yeah.
And I remember um, I would read fiction sometimes, or sometimes I would read mythology. I loved the Norse mythology, Greek mythology. I loved the Legends of King Arthur. I had an abridged version of all of these in these little collections of books and whatnot. And in retrospect, I think that the little bit of reading I did do, it was kind of high quality, so I think it left a mark. a lot of the movies that we saw, I knew these were based on books. So I always had it in my mind, okay, books are kind of the big thing and I have to like work my way up there. But
Yeah.
every time I go to the library and look at the book, I'd be like, it's so big. What am I gonna? How can someone write all of this, let alone read all of this? It's so
Yeah,
big.
yeah, yeah. Hmm.
But gradually, I started reading once in a while. A book that I did read several times for myself, even before like a proper reading journey, when I was quite young,
Yeah.
was the War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells.
Hmm.
I think I've read that more than any other book. It's still one of my favorite books. I think that it still is kind of untopped in terms of alien invasion fiction because it
Yeah.
created the whole idea. This is also why I love some of the more recent science fiction we've been getting, where they move away from the idea of warfare as the story, because this is the
Hmm.
only way to escape from the War of the Worlds shadow,
Yeah.
basically. So I had that, but it wasn't until my 20s that, because I was outlining stuff for my entire childhood. I had mostly superhero stuff.
Hmm.
Then around 2010, I was actually working on a Transformers fan fiction that I still think is better than the movies we've gotten. But while I was working on that, my brother said, like, why don't you just create your own thing? So I actually started repurposing some of my ideas for that, and that turned into, a, through many stages of evolution, that turned into my concept for the fantasy series I'm working on. Then I struggled along for a couple more years with this, again, always thinking it would be a comic, so I would be designing the characters and making outlines and stuff. But then reading just crept up on me. My video games kept more and more shifting toward visual novels. I was more and more interested to read. I had a little Dungeons and Dragons phase. So I started reading literature to get ideas for like campaigns and stuff with
Yeah.
this. And somewhere in there, I realized I've kind of turned into a reader. Like I'm reading a lot now.
Yeah.
So I literally quit video games to make more time to read books. And I never went back. I occasionally play something. If something was
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
cool, I play it.
Right.
Or Let's Plays are my friend, because sometimes the story looks fascinating, but I don't want to actually deal with gameplay. So
Right.
I'll
Yeah.
watch someone else play it, like, oh, that's so good. Like, the
Yeah.
story is so fascinating, whatever. And
Hmm.
it's an amazing art form. I don't play it because I don't have time, but I do
Yeah.
respect all the work that goes into making those. Like,
Oh
it's
yeah.
honestly very underappreciated.
Yeah.
So then it was around the time I was 20 when I said to myself, books are more respected. It's oddly enough easier to be a good author than to try to collaborate with an artist or learn to do art myself.
Right.
And I finally realized I've never cared about drawing. I never cared. I cared about the story I was telling with the
Yeah.
pictures. And I
Hmm.
couldn't read or write, so this was how I was doing it. So I went down to the store, I bought a bunch of ruled sheets and just started writing this way instead.
Hmm.
And I wrote the second book in the series first because I had outlined the first one. But the first draft of the first book is written like a script for a graphic novel. So it's written as shots, stage direction, this sort of thing. And it has
Yeah.
almost no resemblance to the book as it is now. So that was that. And then I spent, way too long struggling with an epic series. During COVID, I wrote 3 short stories, none of which got accepted for publication anywhere. And then it was around 2022, I said to myself, I need to move forward with this somehow. And that's Heroless. I said, okay, I'm going to stop with the fantasy series for now because it's so long and it's so difficult, and I'm not like getting better really because I'm trying to
Yeah.
figure out all the nuts and bolts of all of this story. So I wrote this, and it was weird calling upon characters I had made all the way back when I was a kid who couldn't read or write, and kind of calling them in because it almost made like what's the word here? It almost turned everything I had done from the time I was a kid to now into this weird detour. It's like, so this was all training just to make a better version of something I came up with when I was 5. Like literally, it's crazy. There's one character in this book that's the first character I came up with that I could read and write by then. So he's always had written dialogue. From his first appearance, he had little talk bubbles.
Yeah.
Whereas other characters, if I had all of those comics that I did, which I don't have all of them anymore, I have a few lying around, I think, you'd see a certain point where they start having talk bubbles now. Like early on, there's nothing. Then there's sound
Yeah.
effects. Then they start talking. But he always talked. He always had a voice. So it's cool that he's in this book, and his name is even
Yeah.
the same,
Oh, that's
which
cool.
is cool. Yeah, so it's been quite a journey with a weird cul-de-sac in there.
Yeah, I
So
love that.
yeah,
I love all these different things along the way and how
no,
these characters have been there in your mind for so long, in
yeah.
different mediums and used in different ways, and now you've got them here in this book for the whole world to read. That's pretty awesome.
When I got my copies of it and I opened it just to look and see their names written there, it's like, wow, I did it. Now what? It's
Right.
kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. There you go. Sarah makes a good point. She says sometimes certain narratives stay with us for a reason. You were just
Yeah,
meant to do it, man.
I
And
guess
it stuck
so.
with you. Yeah, there
I
you go.
guess so.
Oh, that's
Oh,
awesome. All right, so we're already at 55 minutes, believe it or
oh
not. We're
wow.
coming up on the hour already. It flies
Yeah, yeah,
when you're having fun. So a
yeah.
couple more questions before we wrap up, though. I would love to know when you're writing, are you someone, do you consider yourself which end of the spectrum that you've got the pantser that just sits down and writes, doesn't plan anything out, or the
Mm.
other end, outlines, plots everything out in detail, or are you somewhere in the middle?
I mean, of course, everyone's on the spectrum, as you said,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I lean very hard toward being a plotter.
Okay.
Uh, I've tried the short stories that I wrote during COVID.
Yeah.
I tried writing without an outline for the first time in my life. I wound up having to pause to make an outline. I would get so far, and
Oh man.
what was happening was I was just holding it all in here.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, I already have the outline. It's all there, so I better just write it down. And I do leave certain things like the how I like to put it when this discussion comes up
Hmm.
is I think everyone is kind of both because even
Yeah.
if you're a pantster, you probably revise.
Hmm.
So your first draft is your plotting phase, and if you're a plotter, your outline is your pantsing phase. Like when I'm
That's a
outlining,
really good way to put it. Yeah.
when I'm outlining, that's when, oh wait a minute, that's a plot hole. Hold on a minute,
Yeah.
I gotta think
Hmm.
about this. Where does that go? Where can I move this? And I'll literally be copy pasting sections
Right.
around. And finally, when that's all done, or even if it's like 80% done, I can start writing. Like I know that this 80% isn't going to get touched. As soon as I start writing like exact dialogue or even paragraphs in the outline,
Hmm.
I know I'm ready to start now because it feels complete enough that I could begin.
Yeah.
Certain things I think are better if you pants them actually. I think
Hmm.
dialogue often comes better if you don't think too hard. Because if you start thinking too hard, you lose the natural, sort of naturalistic way that things just pop out when you're talking. And so I like to do dialogue a little more off the cuff and then go back and fix it later.
Interesting. Okay.
And
That my next question was going to be about dialogue because sometimes
hmm.
that's the hardest thing for a debut author is to
Oh
try to
yeah,
make it sound like people are actually talking and have it be like what's the word I'm trying to think of where each character has a unique voice in dialogue. So
yes,
really you could
oh
read
yeah,
what they say and you would know, oh, that's this character without seeing the said so and so. So did
yes.
you have a hard time with that at first, especially with it being that's interesting that you do it more as a pantsing way where you don't plot out the
Mm.
dialogue and you just let it flow. Do you feel like it came natural doing it that way, or did you have to really work at it at first?
I find it is really character by character. Some characters, I feel like I understand them immediately, and I know right
Okay.
away, okay, they wouldn't say this, they would say this.
Yeah.
And usually, too, the way it works is because the story is outlined, I
Hmm.
know that this interaction has to lead from point A to point B. Right?
Right.
At the start, they're going to be here, and at the end, they're going to be there.
Yeah.
Just the exact particulars of what they'll say, I'll find it when I get there. I'll discover the exact words I need. But I
Yeah.
know, okay, they're going to meet, they're going to talk, they're going to have a friendly interaction, and at the end of it, they're going to agree to, I don't know, meet tomorrow, whatever the scene is, or at the end of it, they're going to fight or something. That's outlined. But
Hmm.
then to actually write the dialogue, I get in there. But dialogue came probably it was very difficult for me. This is one thing that is I see I have a common friend here in the,
Yep. Yeah. He pantses his dialogue too.
yeah, all right.
Yeah.
So
There
I'm
you
not
go.
the only one. That's always
Yeah.
awesome.
And
Yeah,
some writers are really great at dialogue from the start, and some have to
yeah,
work at it. Yeah, it's very true.
yeah. I had to work on it because something that is difficult if you're introverted is you don't have enough real people around you to get
Right, I
words
hear you.
from. Because if your main, it's great to be, you have to be inspired, I think, by art to create art. But
Hmm.
you shouldn't draw from it too much. You have to have real interactions
Right.
to get really original characters and all of this. They have
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
taken from, people and stuff. Because that's probably where the best stuff came from in the first place. It didn't come from some other person's interpretation.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
it. So I struggled massively with dialogue. My early stuff had no dialogue whatsoever, and the some of the heaviest revision I do is I'll just forget that characters are allowed to talk. I'll just talk for them for pages, and I'm like, I haven't used dialogue in like 3,000 words or something now. Okay, okay,
Right.
wait a minute. They technically had a conversation here, so
Yeah.
I'll go back there and I'll turn this into dialogue, or just shorten this, like chop this up and get it down.
Yeah.
Because
Interesting.
I think as time has gone on, our books get more and more dialogue oriented.
Hmm.
It's actually something that I think the reason I picked up a low dialogue habit early on, partly from not having a lot of friends and stuff at that age, and partly if you read a lot of classics, you get huge sections where there's no talking.
Hmm.
And even if there is talking, it'll be like in a paragraph.
Hmm.
They talk about this and this and this and this, but there's no quotation marks. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
person describing conversation,
Right.
which is cool, but it'll get you rejected really fast if you want to even try trad publishing,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
fall back on self-publishing at the end. But because self-publishing is really great, it gives you full control over everything. But I think everyone at least tries a trad route first, and then if it doesn't work, okay, I can always go back and self-finance this myself, and you
Yeah.
lose nothing by trying. So and I think almost every self-published author I know, they start by trying to do trad, and then they go, okay, they don't want it, so I'm just going to do it myself, and
Yeah.
that's a cool thing that technology has allowed us to do. So I struggled massively with dialogue. And I think it's kind of cool now that I can even pan stick, because early on I would really be there, like, okay, okay, okay.
Right.
But there was an exact day I found my method. I had gone quite far into writing the manuscript, and I realized there's like no dialogue in this thing, and that's not good. There needs to be people talking.
Right.
So I literally said, I am going to write dialogue, because the character had gone to a convention. So I said, what I'm going to do, they are going to hear the sound of people around them talking. I'm going to create the crowd by just writing a huge thing of dialogue. And I'll make it obvious from how it's written that they're hearing different people talking. Sometimes it'll be a different conversation, sometimes you'll hear a little chunk of one. So I just made myself write dialogue for like 3 pages. And I think that kind of cured me. Like, okay, now I can do this. And then I find my brain kind of switch modes and it's like, okay, now I'm in the dialogue mode where I'll move scene to scene.
Yeah.
uh,
Interesting.
I have many theories about why our books are more and more dialogue heavy. I
Hmm.
think it's because we watch so many movies and stuff where dialogue is really the main thing,
Yeah.
right? The
Right.
narrator becomes the camera and the music, but
Yep.
you get those at the same time as the dialogue. So
Yeah.
you need
That's
it
true.
all working at the same moment. That's my sort of thought. But
That's a good thought. That's
it's
very true.
it's another reason to read Gone with the Wind. I'm going to come back to this again. It was a good book to read early on
Hmm.
because you were talking about being able to see who's speaking without he said, she said,
Yeah.
he intoned, she screamed, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I think if someone wants to just study the actual construction of dialogue on the page, read Gone with the Wind. The dialogue and following who is saying what, it's so easy to follow. I remember reading that and I was like, how is this working? Like, what is the actual wizardry? Where is the trick that I understand who is talking without her saying who is talking? But yeah. Anyway,
That's I was just in awe listening. I love hearing about the how different authors' brains work with everything. I think that's awesome, man.
right? We're
Very
all different.
very
That's so
interesting. Yeah.
weird. It's
It's
so it's
cool.
so fascinating how everyone has like a different method. But as
Yeah.
long as
I
you
agree.
end up with something that we can all read at the end, it's a valid method. This
Yep,
is the thing.
exactly. I agree. I
Yeah,
agree.
this is the thing.
Very cool. All right, last question before we wrap things up. I always like to
All
ask this. It's going to put you on the spot a little. But
right.
so if you were to give advice to either a new author or someone wanting to get into writing, what would be Antoine Monk's advice for aspiring or new authors?
I actually like this question because I would pass on advice that I got from an author once upon a time.
Okay.
I was in a game store place. They sold miniature. They sold miniatures, and it was during my Dungeons and Dragons phase, so I was there a lot.
Okay.
And I met this guy there, and he was a lot older than me, and he was a author. He wrote Dungeons and Dragons like campaigns, though.
Okay.
But this is also a good point that the medium or the genre doesn't even matter. Actually, good
Right.
writing advice, it kind of applies to everything. And I was telling him some of my ideas, but I also at some point mentioned I have trouble sort of. At that time, I had never managed to actually sit down and finish a single one of these. Nothing could ever get sort of done.
Yeah.
And now I know it's because I didn't have a process, like to find, And what he suggested was just take one sheet of paper and just start writing all the ideas you have for the story. And now you've started. You might get the whole thing. Try to get it all on that one page if you can. And now you've started. And now you can continue from there. And this is very similar to something Dan Brown said, that a writing process is the most important thing, is if you have a process, it'll get you through the days when you don't feel like writing. And his something he said was very similar to what this guy said, which is you have to be okay with writing the wrong thing a couple of times and
Okay.
making it the process where you'll find the right thing to say.
I love
But
that.
so I think that's just start. Like if you just begin, then you can find your process. Then you can find all of this. Like maybe when you start writing, you'll discover instantly you're a pantser. It'll leap on there in something kind of semi-finished. Or you might be like me, where it's like, okay, there's a character, he's like this, and he has a friend, and then that friend is like this, and then the outline starts to happen. But and also obviously look at real things around you, get ideas from real people. If you're thinking about dialogue, listen to people talking. If you're thinking about characters, think about real people that you know sooner than like another character in a book or something like this, because usually those characters we love so much, they came from someone that was real, even if it's, I think even basing it off of an actor is a safer bet than basing it off of like another book character.
Yeah.
Because actors insert part of themselves,
Right.
into a
That's
role.
true. Yeah.
But so if you say like, this is why casting and whatnot is so critical, because when you cast an actor, you're acknowledging who we cast is going to influence how this
Yeah.
how this plays out. But anyway,
That's good.
and it's worked for a long time. Like again, I'm gonna use Gone with the Wind again. That of course, yeah, because it's a good touchstone for so many things.
Oh yeah.
That of course, Clark Gable is famous for playing Rhett Butler in the film, and he's perfect.
Right.
But the actual inspiration behind the look of the character was an actor from the silent era called Rudolph Valentino.
Oh really?
Yeah, so anyone who reads Gone with the Wind, they should look at a picture of Rudolph Valentino if they want like the authoress's accurate interpretation of the
Oh,
of
I
the
love
character.
hearing stuff like that. That's interesting.
Yeah, and like Stephanie Meyer based, like I haven't read Twilight, it's not exactly
Yeah,
my thing, but she based Edward Cullen off of Henry Cavill.
Oh really? I did not know that.
Way before all of us knew him as Superman,
Oh
Stephanie
wow.
Meyer. Stephanie Meyer had her eye on the ball. She said, "Yeah, this would be
He's gonna
my
be cool.
heroic, handsome,
Wow.
chiseled
Okay.
guy." Yeah, yeah, I love that little.
That's
That little thing.
interesting to think if he would have been in that instead.
I
Wow.
know. I mean, it was considered, but he was already past an acceptable age for Edward when the movies got
Yeah,
made.
yeah,
So that's how we got Robert Pattinson happening. But
yeah. Interesting. Very interesting. Teaching me all sorts of things today, Antoine.
ah, it's fun to talk about it. Like like I
Yeah.
said at the beginning, it's nice to have a space where like people are interested
Oh
and
heck
all of
yeah,
this.
man. We love this stuff.
That's
Awesome.
good because I do too.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. Very cool,
it's
man.
it's funny. I was just at Comic Con here in Prague,
Oh
and
really?
listening. Yeah, yeah,
Is
we
it
had
a pretty
several
big
people.
one they have there?
It's bigger every year,
Nice.
and yeah, this year they had Billy Boyd from Lord of the Rings. He plays Pippin in
Oh,
Lord of the Rings.
nice. Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, that was huge. Like,
That's cool.
oh yeah, and he sang for us.
No way.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it
That's
was.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Are
But
people
yeah,
going
so
nuts?
oh yeah, of course. It was really all the guests were they're such thoughtful people. Really, the people that want to do Comic Con and stuff like
Oh
this.
yeah,
They
they
want
love
to
to
let you know.
interact and yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah.
But so it's funny that like 2 weeks ago I was there and I wanted to like find out from them, like, oh, how did they do stuff? How did they? And
Yeah.
now I'm in the other position. People are asking me like, oh, how did you do this?
Yeah. See, there
But
you
we
go.
all learn from each other, I suppose.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Mm.
You end up on both sides, right? There you go.
Yeah, yeah.
Very awesome. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me, man. This has been a blast. And this is called Beast Friends Forever. We are Beast Friends Forever now, Antoine. So anytime you need to come on to promote anything, to hang out and chat, fist bump, boom. When next time you have your next book come out, anything you need, I'd love to have you back on anytime. This was a blast, and congrats on the book, on everything you have going on, and I'm just excited to be jumping on at the beginning of your journey, man.
Oh, thank you so much. I was very happy that you've been very polite and very communicative this whole time because I've emailed so many people in the last few months, and honestly, most of the time they don't even answer.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, I know. It is how it goes sometimes. I always try to answer, and I always just love to meet new people and give
Yeah.
people. I always say spotlight, but really I like to joke and say it's more of a flashlight. But it's better than nothing. And sometimes you need the flashlight to get you to the spotlight.
Yes.
So I'm just glad to shine my little micro flashlight, my keychain
Mm.
flashlight, on you for a minute.
Thank you
Because
so much.
I mean, this book is awesome, man. I think, and talking with you, you're brilliant. I think you're going places, man. So just keep at it.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
It's
And
been great having you on here. And we had a great chat. Thank you, everybody, in the live chat. You guys were fantastic.
yes,
Keith, you have a
indeed.
good night as well. Yeah, they were great. Great
Yeah.
questions, as always. Everybody on replay, thank you for watching as well. Make sure to
Yes.
leave a comment if you have any questions, and I'll relay it to Antoine. And make sure everybody checks out the description. The link to Heroless is down there, so you can go check it out. And make sure to subscribe and follow Antoine's YouTube channel as well. And check him out on X, Twitter, whichever you want to call it. But the link for that is down there as well. So, is there anything you want to say before we go? I'll give you the floor. That I always try to remember because the one time I didn't ask, someone's like, "Wait, aren't you going to ask if I have anything else to say?" So, is there anything you want to say before we go?
No, not really, except maybe just I wish everyone online would be polite like our friend Chris here. So often when we have technology in between us, I've really discovered in the last few months that oh boy, even me sometimes you sort of forget you're talking to a real person, and it's like, oh, if they were in front of me, I wouldn't say this, you know.
That is true. That is a big.
Mm.
I'm a teacher too, and that's a big thing I teach my students just with social media, especially high school
Oh,
age kids. Like, you feel way safer than you should with social media, but
yes.
I know it's a thing we all need to learn in this new age where it's just so easy to just type something and send it without thinking it through, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Uh,
So you're fighting the good fight in your classroom there,
oh,
sir.
Yes, sir. I'm trying. I'm trying. Well, I appreciate the kind words, and again, it was a blast. I'd love to have you back anytime.
Yes.
So, everybody, yeah, of course. Everybody, take care. Have a great night. I will see you. I'll be on tomorrow night with Michael Vadney. So, look forward to that. I think we're gonna do this at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. So, look for links tomorrow. But for now, have a fantastic evening, and I will see you in the next one. And until I do, as I always say, devour your TBRs. Be brave. Be beautiful to one another. Go get a copy of Heroless and check it out. And be beastly. We'll see everybody. Have a good night. So long.